This is a story called The Little Monsters at Christmas, Chapter 42, The School's Choir Christmas Pranksters. The School's Choir Christmas Concert Pranksters. Even though school has broke up for Christmas, the school choir have been meeting up every day to practice for their Christmas concert. The Little Monsters have been asked to sing a solo each and they've agreed. Of course, being little monsters, they can't help playing pranks on the other choir members. They take out their toy cows and get the other kids to stroke them. Then they tell them to squeeze their udders, and when they do, they squirt milk at them, much to their amusement. Even the choir master thinks it's funny. Then the kids settle down to rehearse for their Christmas concert, which was in 2 days' time. They rehearsed hard both with the choir and on their solos, and they couldn't wait for the concert to start. It was 3 nights in different locations. The first night they were performing in their local club. The second night was in their local church, of which was right next door to where their school was. The third night was in their local community centre near the school. The kids were all really excited and they couldn't wait to play pranks on people. All the gang had their own solo spot, backed by the choir, and each concert was 3.5 hours long. They all started at 5 p.m. and finished at 8:30 p.m. with a 15-minute interval halfway through. On the night of their first concert, the gang took their toy balls and goats with them. Before their concert started, the gang went round getting people to stroke their toy balls. At first they were calm, but as soon as anyone touched their horns, they attacked them. Then they got people to stroke their toy goats, and at first they were really calm and friendly. However, as soon as anyone turned their backs on them, they kicked them hard. Thankfully, everyone thought this was funny. After about 10 minutes, it was time for the kids to go on stage and settle down ready to perform. The audience also settled down ready to watch the concert. The choir were brilliant, and so were the solo singers who were backed by the choir. They performed for about 1.5 hours and then they took a 15-minute break. During the break, the gang went round with their toy balls and goats, getting people to stroke them and making everyone laugh. Then it was time for them to go back on stage for the last part of the concert. They all performed beautifully all the way through, and the gang sang a solo together backed by the choir right at the end of the concert. That night the gang all went back to Kickers for a sleepover. The following day they stayed there for a few hours, and then they all went ice skating after they'd had their lunch. That night their second concert was in the church next door to the school. They were told by the choir master not to play pranks on people inside the church because it would be disrespectful. However, when they were outside, they had about 20 minutes before their concert started, so they had plenty of time to go around playing pranks on people. They got their toy horses out and went round getting people to stroke them. Then when they did, they lifted up their top lip and blew down their noses, making everyone laugh. Then some people touched their back ends and they kicked them, making everyone laugh again. Then it was time for them to go inside the church and get ready for their concert. They performed for about 1 hour and 15 minutes, and then they took a 15-minute break, and the gang went round with their toy cows. They went round as many people as they could, letting them stroke them. Then a few people squeezed their udders and they squirted milk all over them, much to everyone's amusement. Then it was time for everyone to go back inside for the last part of the concert. When they'd finished, the gang all went back to Creepers for the sleepover. They got there about 9 p.m. and they played video games until about 11 p.m. The next day it was raining, so they all stayed at Creeper's house for a while. Later on in the day, they all made their way to Stumpy's house. When they got there, the first thing Stumpy said to his mum was, "Mum, I'm hungry." The rest of the gang looked at each other and then at Stumpy and said, "You're always hungry, Stumpy." Everyone laughed, including Stumpy's parents, and Stumpy said, "Oh, you guys are always making fun of me." "That's because all you ever want to do is eat," said Bumpy, making everyone laugh. "Oh, whatever, guys. Come on, let's eat. We have to be at the community centre for our concert soon," said Stumpy. They all ate their tea and then they played for about an hour, until it was time for them to go to the community centre for their final concert. This time they took their toy crocodiles with them and their toy balls. When they got to the community centre, the first thing they did was go around with their toy crocodiles, getting people to stroke them. When they did so, the crocodiles opened their jaws wide and bit them, much to everyone's amusement. Then, after about 10 minutes, it was time for everyone to go inside to get ready for the concert. The choir performed for about an hour and 15 minutes, and then they took a 15-minute break. During that break, the manager of the gang's local club came up to the gang and asked them if they'd like to perform in the club at the weekend. They checked with their parents and they said it was okay, so the kids said yeah. Then it was time for the choir to go back on stage for the last part of their concert. When they'd finished, they all went back to Stumpy's house, as it was his turn to have a sleepover. The next day they rehearsed the songs that they wanted to sing in the club at the weekend. Then they spent the rest of the day playing video games, as it was raining heavily outside. At the weekend, the kids went in the club on the Friday night and sang their hearts out. However, they took an half-hour break, and during that time they constantly played pranks on people. Then they went back on stage and sang their hearts out. When they'd finished, they all went back to Bumpy's house for the sleepover. They were all so tired that they all went straight to bed. The next night they performed at the club again, but they only did an hour, and then they all went back to Grumpy's for the sleepover. They were all so tired they fell asleep downstairs, so Grumpy's mum got her camera out, took a picture, and then covered each of them with a blanket. End of chapter 42. Hope you like it, guys. Thanks for watching. Love yous. Bye.